Good morning. This is the Josh Widdicombe show. I don't know why I paused before show then, as if I was going. This is the Josh Widdicombe. Basically, what's happened, Dave, is that I've got a lot of echo in my headphones, and
have you?
You know that thing when you phone someone, you hear your voice being played back to you.
Yeah.
Like half a second later.
Good.
And it makes you very self-aware of how nasal your voice is.
Yeah, I've actually also got it. We're really breaking down this fourth wall of radio.
Yeah, well,
first link of the day.
I don't think there's anyone at home who's going, are they or are they not wearing headphones? They're wearing headphones. I'm not involved in this. My issue with XFM is that, I want them to wear full headgear.
Yeah.
I don't know where I'm going with this.
Well, unless you've seen that cereal advert, that annoying cereal advert where they just have the headphones around their neck for the whole talky bit, which is it's inaccurate. It's factually inaccurate, Josh.
Unprofessional. It's the kind of thing that wouldn't go on XFM at 10:09 on a Saturday morning. I should draw attention to the fact Dave is here because we have good news.
Yes.
And the normal, not the normal producer, that's a strange way to describe him, the usual producer. Would you describe yourself as the abnormal Josh Widdicombe show producer? The usual Josh Widdicombe show producer, Neil, has given birth to a baby girl, Anouk. He's not given birth to her.
No.
I misphrased that. I've got off to a disastrous phrasing start.
Oh, we all knew what you meant, so you should have
ploughed
cracked on, yeah.
There was no one there going, what is this, Junior?
Yeah.
Where's Danny DeVito, Arnold Schwarzenegger and Emma Thompson? I'm not getting on board with this story. So he's away. You're here for the next 2 weeks, Dave, so
I am.
Make yourself comfy.
Looking forward to it.
Get ready for, echoes in your ears. Misphrasing.
We'll try and sort out the echo during this.
I shouldn't keep bringing it up.
No.
Josh Widdicombe Podcast. XFM.
Haim or Haim, The Wire? We're still not sure, are we?
No.
I
think it's Haim.
Well, let's take a gamble that they won't be listening.
Okay.
This is Josh Widdicombe on a Saturday morning. We're joined by producer Dave, who hasn't done his research into bands names like Neil Wood.
Would he?
No. Neil, to be honest, is quite laissez-faire about stuff like that. He just kind of ploughs on and just does his catchphrase.
Why don't we just cover all? I'll call them Haim. You call them Haim. And
if they listen, they'll be offended either way.
Yeah, by one of us. Yeah.
There's two things I want to be talking about this morning. Neither of them are sister-based girl groups. Which is definitely how they should be referred to from now on.
Although that's a future subject right there, because I'd love to talk in detail about Cleopatra.
We could call it sister-based girl group disasters, so that people know. We've all been there.
Yeah.
When you've teamed up with your sisters and then no one's got a bass guitar. How the hell are we going to move on from this? These aren't the things we're going to be talking about, Dave.
No.
I wouldn't want to say that Neil was at home going, you should keep things on a firmer track than...
He's looking at his watch now, isn't he, thinking they're dragging this on already? Wrap it up, guys.
We should solicit for... We normally solicit for text from the audience, from the listeners, and we should solicit for text from Neil to see if he is listening.
It's a really good idea.
Because he's got a new daughter, he'll definitely be up. If he's not listening...
Yeah.
Then, if anything's going to send her to sleep, it's our dulcet tones. There's two things we want to talk about. One, on Friday morning this week, I had a bit of a disaster in that I had left my keys in my coat outside of my house at a TV thing, and my girlfriend had then gone out, deadlocked the door. I hadn't thought maybe I need my keys to undeadlock the door. So was locked in my house when a taxi arrived that I needed to get, and had to sit for an hour with a taxi 2 feet away from me.
What, did he hang around?
Yeah, because I spoke to him through the letterbox, and I said, "Don't worry, there's someone coming. They've got keys. They're going to release me." And it was a horrible situation because you don't know what to do when you're trapped in your own house.
No.
So I didn't do anything really. I watched Homes Under the Hammer.
What, just with the taxi driver staring through the window at you? Or?
No, he didn't. He sat back in his car.
Oh, good.
I said, stand down. I said, conversation over, stand down. I'll call you when I need you.
I'm going to watch Homes Under the Hammer.
I'm gonna watch
if you want to watch it, feel free to stand at the window.
To angle the TV so that you can see Nick Knowles, whoever it would be. I don't know.
No, I don't.
It was on the heritage. It's neither here nor there on this subject. Too much of a digression. Neil would have been all over that. He'd have stamped that one out. So I've also I talked about it a couple of weeks ago when I got locked in a shower. So basically, I want to do locked in disasters. Where have you been locked in?
Okay, good.
What situations have you been locked in? Anything using the phrase locked in. It doesn't need to be a disaster. Just locked in stories. Locked in. That's all we're looking for on that one. The other one is I phoned you yesterday to discuss what we're going to discuss on today's show, and I said, "How are you?" And you said, "What did you say?"
It's my birthday.
Yeah, and it was I felt kind of guilty because
You weren't there celebrating with me.
Yeah, I didn't. I was kind of making you work, and I didn't really know what I was meant to be doing with that information. So, and I said, "Oh, you're going to feel terrible tomorrow," and you said, "No, I'm going to have a quiet one." I thought, how depressing.
Oh, good, thanks.
I've got one producer that's got a child. I've got another producer that's getting an early night so they can do the show.
Yeah.
What happened to rock and roll?
I'm just a very responsible human being.
You are, but you're going out tonight. This is what I've heard.
Yeah.
So, but the worst birthday you've had? Can you top Dave's, which was, it actually sounded quite good in the end. You went for dinner behind Debenhams on Oxford Street.
When you say it like that sounds really weird.
But I've heard you today describe it twice as you went for dinner. Do you know Debenhams on Oxford Street? You're just behind there. Like you were eating out of the bin of Debenhams.
It's a really cool. It's a cool place called Meat Liquor,
right?
And it's a wonderful restaurant. It just so happens to be just behind Debenhams.
Just so happens. It's fine. It's fine. We'll let you off.
Josh Widdicombe. XFM.
Now, normally, Dave, I would give Neil the chance of a kind of right to reply on these subjects before I throw it open to the listeners. So I feel like, although one of the subjects is based on you having a disappointing birthday, so you've kind of already been there.
Well, the birthday one, actually, I thought was going to get 10 times worse because I put a post on Facebook to say...
You're not going to be one of those people that has those parties that get out of control and end up in the Daily Mail.
No, it wasn't that, but I wanted to watch the football somewhere, so actually I mentioned a pub, and I said, let's all turn up there, and me and my girlfriend Hannah were sat on our own in the pub for a good 15 minutes, and I thought, this is going to be a disaster. It's going to be an absolute disaster. But then, luckily, a few people turned up, so it was fine.
My friend Ellis once didn't send out his text for his birthday early enough, so just did it on the day and said, I'll be in this pub from 4 p.m. Went down there, no one turned up, so he had a pint on his own and just went home. I've just realised I've topped the birthday disaster story. I'd forgotten that had ever happened.
Yeah.
And so beat that.
Yeah.
So is that your worst kind of...
No, well, it's not actually technically a birthday disappointment, but it's close. It's New Year's Eve, so it's an occasion that you should be celebrating with friends, I think.
Yeah, the most pressured occasion, I think, New Year's Eve. I think there's too much pressure to have fun.
Yeah, no one ever really does.
No one does.
No. I was at university in Sheffield, and, name drop. And I was working at a bar, and the plan was... The plan was to work at this bar. Oh, I've got quite a few friends working in this bar. I thought this could be quite good fun. You know, you could work there. We'll probably have a few drinks at midnight and then carry on to 2 or 3 in the morning. 2 or 3 in the morning.
That's producer Dave for you.
But this new manager who had turned up came in at 11:30, said, we're overstaffed, you can go home, Dave. So I ended up going back to my student halls of residence on New Year's Eve and sitting on my bed as the clock ticked past midnight.
Oh, that is... Why didn't you just stay and have a drink on the other side of the bar?
I don't know, I just thought I could probably have more fun somewhere else.
More fun sat on your bed, just staring at a clock.
And I just ended up...
So did you... When you're on your own, do you say Happy New Year? Or does that make it worse?
I can't remember.
Do you vocalise the depression of the situation?
I'm sure I said something to myself.
Just, I hope it gets better than this.
Yeah.
It has.
Started on a low, Dave, haven't we?
Josh Widdicombe. XFM. Podcast.
Producer Dave.
Good morning.
Good morning. You're using producer Neil's catchphrase there, but that's, you know...
What, good morning?
Do you know what?
I think someone's already taken it.
You're not going to believe this, but people now tweet in and say, can we hear Neil's catchphrase, good morning?
It's not a catchphrase.
It's not a catchphrase, no. That's the gall of the man. That's how much he thinks of himself, that he's copyrighted that.
He's coined the phrase "good morning."
Yeah, you know when you play a song on Spotify and it gives 1p to the artist? Whenever someone says good morning, they have to give 1p to Neil. We're talking about two things this morning. One, birthday disasters. I think we've riffed enough on your pain for a while there, Dave.
Thanks.
So let's move on to places you've been locked into. And I would put this text in the top 10 texts we've ever had. It's genuinely one of my favourite stories. Let's just go through it bit by bit, and stop me at any point if you want to pull me up on a factual inaccuracy or absolutely mental point of view, or just a situation where you go, that is so awkward, it's unbelievable.
There's so much in here, it's brilliant.
It's dense, isn't it? It's like The Usual Suspects. It's one of those things that the more you watch it, you kind of get more out of it. A friend on a one-night stand tried to sneak out, open brackets, as you do, close brackets. And I also like they put the U as just a U, as you do, I'm just sneaking out, I'm casual, and got trapped in the porch of the house as the front door was locked. That is an absolute disaster. He called a mate to help, but couldn't remember the number of the house, so turned the light on and off. Open brackets, like Morse code, SOS, close brackets. I don't know if you need to be saying SOS. I think if you're turning the lights on and off, it's no one's going to go, wait a minute, there's someone turning the lights off, but they're not saying SOS. I don't think that's the guy I'm looking for. His mate couldn't help. Don't know. Well, obviously not, because the guy was locked in. So he had to ring the girl who he was trying to sneak away from to release him. No. How awkward. You made a very good point when we got this, which was that it's all written as if it happened to someone else.
Oh, yeah, a mate of mine.
Yeah. But we're very sure that a mate of mine means this happened to me. I mean, it's astonishing, the thought of being trapped in a porch when you've tried to sneak out all one night. I mean...
I wonder what he said.
I
wonder what he said to the girl who he was trying to sneak away from as she opened the door to let him back in the house. So how'd you get out of that?
I just wanted some porch time. Yeah. Just wanted to hang out with some wellies and a Thompson's directory. Just want to chill out with a coat stand. So, and then I'll get back and start this proper relationship that we're having. That has in no way been demeaned by us going too fast out the blocks.
Josh Widdicombe podcast, XFM.
Now we move on to a slightly later than normal in the show, but I feel that the audience needs to be awake to kind of really enjoy the highbrow nature of this feature. Matthew Crosby from the BBC Three sitcom Badults has said the show was a bit lowbrow, so he's injecting some literature into it by each week reading from his library of celebrity autobiographies. Good morning, Matthew.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm very good. How are you?
I'm good. I can't help but feel that you mentioned Badults in order to slightly skewer me there. Say, I'm from Badults, but I think the show is lowbrow.
No, I didn't. I mentioned it in a way to help your DVD sales, but now I feel like you're throwing it back in my face.
No. Thank you very much for helping us with the DVD sales. We are so close to double figures.
But it is 2 DVDs to a set, so that's only 4 you've sold.
Exactly.
Now, in previous weeks, you've read from Anthea Turner, Shane Ritchie, all the classics. Who do we have this week?
Well, this week is a top international celebrity, Mr. David Beckham.
Oh.
Now, actually, possibly the biggest name I've read from so far.
Turner.
Exception of Turner, Ritchie maybe, but David Beckham. I'm going to read his book now. What do you think? What do you think his book is called?
Well, there's no obvious pun, is there?
No.
Could be around the Golden Balls thing, but I don't think he would. I don't think he would mock himself with that.
No, he wouldn't go for that. He's a classy man.
What's he gone with?
He's gone with quite disappointingly, My Side.
Oh, that's really disappointing.
Well, that's quite clever, though.
I can't help feel this is the product of a ghostwriter. You say clever because there's a lot of ghostwriting in here. I'm pretty sure he originally wanted to call it kickity kick football. But the reason I know there's a ghostwriter is that there are some bits that are definitely David, and there are some bits which are definitely the ghostwriter. Now I'm going to read from the chapter where he meets his wife, Victoria Beckham.
She was called Victoria Adams, I think, at the time. I think it would have been very presumptuous to take his name before meeting him.
Well, funny enough, she didn't even know who he was when they met. It's a fascinating chapter. Now, the reason I know he used a ghostwriter is this chapter opens with a discussion about the quality of hotels after the collapse of the former Soviet Union. Now, I can't help but feel, got a little bit of help with that bit. He was leaning over during the exam, so there are a few bits which are definitely written by him, because he's called this chapter "The One with the Legs." And what I like about this chapter is, if you've ever wanted to live like a celebrity, this is a great guide. For I'm going to tell you all about their first date. On went clean clothes, a white t-shirt, a beige jacket, Timberlands, and a pair of Versace jeans. It was like putting on my costume for the most important show ever. I rang the co-star and we arranged to meet at a bus stop outside the Castle pub, a pub we both knew in Woodford. We worked out later we'd been in that pub at exactly the same time as each other in the past without realising it. Huge anecdote there. I was so nervous. What should I do? Kiss her on the cheek? Shake hands? With a little wobble in my voice, I mumbled, "All right." That's it. That's all. That's exactly everything.
Is that the anecdote? Is that the date?
That's not the whole date. It gets better. I sorted out my car. I sorted out my wardrobe. I can't say I'd sorted out a plan for the evening. "Where do you want to go?" Victoria smiled. Where would you like to go?" "I know this little Chinese. There was a restaurant in Chingford that I'd visited with my mum and dad. Nothing spectacular, but I had one big thing to recommend it. There was never anyone else in the place whenever I'd eaten there. That's what you want for a restaurant. A restaurant that no one will go to, not even locals." I gave Victoria directions. We parked up and went in. Perfect. It was absolutely deserted. We sat down and I ordered, "Could I have a Coke and a Diet Coke, please?" The lady who ran the restaurant looked at us. "You can't have a drink unless you eat a meal." In fact, he's actually put, "You can't have drink unless you eat meal," but I'm not going to read that.
Astonishing.
I said we just wanted a quiet drink. She wasn't having any of it. "This is an exclusive restaurant, you know." We were getting chucked out. They end up going over to Mel C's house for half an hour. David doesn't say anything. David doesn't speak to Victoria for the entire night. An hour or two later, we're back in Victoria's MG, continuing our tour of the M25's beauty spot. I remember she drove us past her parents' house at one point, maybe so she'd know where to find her. Eventually, in the early hours of the morning, we were back at the castle. Not exactly the most romantic of first dates, but I felt like it couldn't have been better.
That is lovely.
It could have been so much better. I don't know what he's thinking of.
Well,
but anyway, you know,
I think we should all learn from him, because he's built a solid... You shouldn't set the expectations too high, should you?
Absolutely. Some people go too hot and heavy on the first date.
Exactly. If you go to Chinese with no one in, then the relationship can only build from there. Unless
out with Chinese,
unless you're going out with producer Dave, who went to Debenhams behind Debenhams for his birthday meal yesterday, which still astonishes me.
What a skip!
There was a restaurant behind Debenhams.
Oh, okay, fair enough. All right, fair enough.
Thank you, Matthew. You've once again rubbed in Dave's face quite how bad his birthday is, and brought our literary pretensions up.
Josh Widdicombe podcast.
We are joined, as per usual, by James Acaster.
Thank you, mate. Cheers.
How are you?
Very well. After seeing Ivor's air drum, I'm a bit perturbed.
Well, James is a real drummer, so that's the problem. I felt a bit intimidated.
Well, quite intimidated.
Oh, yeah, you were fine to kind of showboat when you knew there was no one checking.
No, exactly. No one checking my rhythm.
Came right in, assessed his technique. Horrendous.
James coming in here to watch me air drum is a bit of a busman's holiday for him. That's the problem.
For listeners that obviously can't see us, James seemingly not... totally sure he's going to stay for the whole show. He's left his coat on for this.
It's a new coat, and I'm enjoying wearing it.
It isn't. Burgundy is the colour. Is that?
Yeah. I think that's a burgundy coat.
Aubergine.
Yeah, burgundy. Let's stick with burgundy.
All right, we'll stick with burgundy. Plum. And what make is it?
This is crying out for tweeting a picture of the jumper game field to suggest
this is really...
Oh, it's a nice coat, so let's move on. But you combined it with trousers that I describe as mustard.
Yep, mustard and plum. No, oh my, you fairly went in store. Heston Blumenthal?
Well, let's move on.
Another chef?
How's your week been, James?
All right, mate. Yeah, pretty good.
Any news?
Just been gigging it up, and went and saw my parents yesterday. That was nice.
Yeah, Dave and Diane. How was that?
Yeah, lovely. We went for dinner at my auntie and uncle's house. Very civilised affair.
This is the single worst link I've ever done on radio.
Well, it might be, but it's the nicest little chat I've had in weeks. So, it's up to you, mate.
How was your dinner at your auntie's house? I'm going to pursue it, because you've got to get somewhere.
Oh, mate, it was a smorgasbord. So here we go. Here's a bit of a rundown. Smoked salmon on one plate.
I didn't say what was it. I said how was it.
Oh, come on. You never asked me how it was.
Who are you, Fairly Wicks? So where's the limits?
Smoked salmon. Was I eating it or wearing it? That's the question. It was a very nice meal, yeah.
Oh, well, that's very, very good, very good. So, and any other news?
Not really. I woke up this morning to discover... you're doing about people getting locked in places, aren't you? I had the opposite. I woke up this morning and discovered my front door was wide open. I'd not locked it behind me. On my way, I just left myself open to the...
Drinking?
No, I wasn't drinking. Just got in for the lovely meal.
Yeah.
Too much.
You were high on family life.
And, yeah. I woke up this morning.
Was it open?
Is it open? Open, like literally ajar. Front door was open.
I was just trying to make a jar pun then.
A jar of pesto. That's how I describe my shoes.
Josh Widdicombe. Podcast. XFM.
Now we are talking... Well, there's two things we're talking about. I do like when someone replies to both topics in one tweet or text. Dabnor93, 140 characters, managed to respond to two topics. 1, bad birthdays. 2, I've been locked in.
Amazing. Imagine if he nailed the anyone can play guitar as well in the same tweet.
I'm guessing he was the person who's meant to jump out the cake and he couldn't get out.
Right. No, it's not, James. So, stand down. Dabnor93, I've been locked out of the changing rooms. Wait, I've been locked out of the changing rooms in an all-girls school in just my boxers.
Legend.
I don't even understand what's gone on there. I've been locked out of the changing rooms in an all-girls school in just my boxers. Too right, you shouldn't be allowed in.
Yeah, they probably locked you out when you were trying to get in.
That's not an anecdote, that's a police prop, you know, that's...
Did you imagine that this school would have some kind of birthday policy? If you had ID to prove it was your birthday, you were welcome in the all-girls changing rooms.
I'm going to guess his worst birthday was in jail.
His first birthday got food scales for my birthday. I mean...
Oh, I thought you meant the same anecdote for the
no, the anecdote doesn't respond to both, but I mean, the food scales kind of pales into insignificance to his kind of reign of nutty terror.
I like how he's glossed over the initial... You know, well,
I've been
felony.
locked out of the changing rooms in an all-girls school just in my boxers.
Definitely not a female.
Well, it might be a girl, but they don't wear boxers, do they? Girls? I mean, I don't know that much about them.
Some girls wear boxers.
Well, there we go.
But if that person could,
great insight.
If that person could tweet it again and maybe
Dabnor93. I don't know if that's a girl or a boy's name. It's difficult to judge, isn't it?
It is quite. Dabnor is quite a unisex name.
It is. If you baby Dabnor, you wouldn't know, would you?
Now Dabnor92, lady, definitely.
Ivo, can you top that?
Not the food scales bit. I mean, that's the greatest story ever told.
Food scales. Also, I don't think it's a word.
I got locked out on it. I was a couple of years ago on a university ski trip. This is my man of the people anecdote. This is my flatmate who I live with now as well. So when I told him this morning that I was coming on radio and the topic was getting locked out of places, he looked at me and he said, "Oh ho, you've got quite the story for that one," which was when we were rooming together on a ski trip and we hosted a party.
He said, "Oh ho, who are you living with?"
That is not a surprise, come on. I imagine he had a little pipe.
Oh, come on, James, that's not, a cravat. Not in your plum jacket. We hosted a party before we went out to a club. But I went to the loo just as everyone was leaving for the club, and then came out of the loo to find the room empty, everyone having left, and locked the door from the outside, and it was like you couldn't unlock it from the inside. So I had to stay at home and polish off the rest of the booze. Why not?
Boys will be boys.
Boys will be boys. While everyone was out clubbing, and when my flatmate came back the following day and I complained about it, he suggested that the best solution would have been to jump off the balcony. Well, admittedly, there was quite a hefty snowdrift beneath the gate, but we were on the 3rd floor, so it would have been a risky game, I think.
I mean, it would be some party if you turned up to it having jumped 3 floors out of a window.
That'd be one of those stories that you'd be so excited about arriving at a club to tell, but no one would want to listen to. That's the problem.
They would have been quite if they arrived home just to see Ivo's legs sticking out of the snow, pile of snow.
And a locked door. How did he get there? It's kind of a really weak episode of Jonathan Creek, that, but
you know what I'm going to say, Josh? Never seen Jonathan Creek.
Unbelievable.
Lots of them turning up. Oh ho! Ivo's ended up face down in the snow, fellows.
Oh, maybe he said aha. I'm sorry. I don't know if didn't realise it was going to be jumped on to this.
Well,
twiddly-dee.
Let's move on from this kind of class attack. I feel like, I thought Britain was a classless society till James Acaster and Ivo Graham turned up to the radio show.
Red James comes in with his agenda.
In the building currently, there is a radio show with David Mellor and Ken Livingstone, because we often see them, but it's not as
Acaster just walked into the wrong room again.
So, any more on those? Keep them coming in. Any of those subjects we discussed, plum jackets, class warfare, those kind of things.
All I'm saying, James, is your scrapes there better be bloody gritty.
Josh Widdicombe, XFM.
It's time, James, as always at about 12:30 on a Saturday, for Football Focus.
Wouldn't miss it for the world.
No, it is time for your classic scrape.
Yes.
What do you have for us today? One from the library or one from the present day?
It's one from the library, Josh.
Is it?
Yeah, it's a few years
Filed
ago.
under S for scrape.
S for scrape, yep. It was also I'd completely forgotten about this, and a friend reminded me of it the other day, so I was quite pleased to be. This is about during my first year of stand-up, and I got booked to do a Christian festival. Now, this is nothing against, just heads up, nothing against Christians, this entire story, at all. But I'd been booked to do it, and it's quite a hippie-ish festival. Quite a good festival, actually. Quite nice. I enjoyed it. But
Were there bands on as well?
There was bands, and there was performance poetry, and there was plays and comedy, and there's
Readings.
all sorts. There was Christian.
So all I'm thinking is that episode of Peep Show where he goes to one and there are people getting baptised outside there.
Yeah, there was no one getting baptised.
Okay.
It was at Cheltenham Racecourse. So
the most holy of all places.
yeah, horses are all devout Christians.
Yeah,
So yeah, it was very nice. And there was this chai tea tent where they had like people doing like open mic. No, chai tea.
Oh, Tai Chi.
Tai Chi. I mean, the two have been regularly confused. But both are relaxing and good for the soul. So they're doing chai tea.
Yeah.
But then in the corner there was a stage where it's like open mic, you could sign up to do something. So I went in there just to watch for a bit. And there was
oh, God.
There was a
who was also there, actually.
God was there, and is here, Josh. There was a lady watching it who stood in front of me, who wanted to sign up, to perform, and she was speaking to the promoter. She went, but I really need a percussionist. And
James, no.
As we've already covered on the show.
Why?
Well, my friend Matt was with me, and he went, my friend's a drummer, and I was like, he went, come on, how about you? And she was like, yep, okay, well, you can do it later on today, 4 hours time, come back here, and you can do percussion for this lady. I was like, that's fine. So I went away and realised I hadn't got any percussion instruments on me. I hadn't bought anything, so I had to go around.
2 spoons don't cost anything, mate.
I just go around talking to people, and I got myself one of those egg shakers, those shakers that look like an egg.
Yeah.
So I got myself that, and that was all I could muster in time. Oh,
brilliant.
As if by magic. I mean, the listeners can't see that. That is an egg shaker.
Been waiting for this story for years.
Yeah.
Carry this around with me.
Dave's got one of those BBC sound effects CDs.
So this is absolutely perfect.
Yeah, when I did my didgeridoo story, nothing.
I can't believe it's here. So, there was also a load of sexy ladies. So I turned up. I turned up at chai tea tent later on with my
egg shaker.
With my egg shaker, just shaking in my pocket. That's like, this is how fast I was walking. Oh, looked at my watch. Oh, I only 2 minutes to get there. Don't want to let her down. Oh, there's a bit of a queue getting in.
It's not going to top that.
I waited outside chai tea tent, and then she turns up. This lady now she's changed her clothes since I saw her, and she's now wearing like kind of a massive, like a technical of the dream coat kind of thing, and she's also got an arm full of coat hangers, about 20 coat hangers in her arms, like carrying them in her arms, and I said hello. She's like, right, and then she didn't even say like I'll explain these. We just went straight into it. You ready? We went in and we had to sit. There was the stage, and on the stage was a table that she had moved there. So we sat at this table, and then she went, "Do you want to start?" All right. I said, "Are we just making it up?" And she's like, "Yeah, just make it up. I like to jam." Like, okay. I admit it. I can't see any instruments that she's brought with her. I've made more effort than her, and it was sprung on me. So I started just. Pretty good beat to start off with, right? Yeah, pretty nice beat.
I'm drumming along already.
So I'm looking at her. I'm waiting for her, and then she stands up with the coat hangers in her arms, and she holds them above her head, and then she throws all 20 coat hangers at the table really hard at the table, so they've all like this big clang, and then she starts going with her lips, right?
I wasn't thinking she was farting.
No, she wasn't. You know, the listeners can't see what I was doing. You know, that was with her lips, like very much like one of the horses which would be running around the tracks of Cheltenham all year round. So she was doing that, and then she slammed both hands on top of the coat hangers onto the table, and started moving them around on the like.
Were you still shaking?
I was still. I was still keeping a 4/4 rhythm to this. Not even like going into 7/8 or some crazy time.
Take a day off, even when Jack White's improvising.
Yeah. I was like, keep it steady, because keep the beat. She'll probably come. It's a jazz. She'll come back in with it. So she starts moving the coat hangers around like she's shuffling cards.
What's
on
the audience doing at this point?
Well, you see, the audience. They're sitting there drinking chai tea and chatting, and we're ruining their vibe. Yeah. So like they're turning around and looking, going, "What's going on?" Yeah. She's mixing up the
John
coat
Bonham
hangers.
and Mistress Quickly over here.
the coat hangers are like making this like sound as they're going around the table, and then the only lyrics she started shouting. Reflective surfaces. and then the only other lyric was conjoined twins. That was it. So she started shouting those two over and over again while she was doing that. And then she started making.
Why did she need a rhythm section?
I have no idea. Why.
Bit of mainstream cred.
She thought she had to. Clearly, she must have done this at some. I didn't even speak to her afterwards, so I don't know. We literally got up and she went thanks, and then she got the. and walked away.
Picked up her instrument, put it in the box.
Yeah, I mean, it went on for a long time. And
at no point did she pick up a coat hanger and try and tune it.
Just like, hold on, this one's a bit flat. She was doing loads of different noises over the top of the. Like, she was slamming the coat hangers down on the table.
Was your mate in the room?
My mate was really laughing, really, really proud of himself. Slamming the coat hangers down. At one point, she just kept on going. Over and over again. The song ended when I dropped the egg. And then
why did you drop the egg?
I dropped it because I just couldn't be bothered anymore. and also because she had got into this state where she had her eyes closed, she had her hands on the coat hangers and wasn't moving anymore, and was just. Well, she was moving. She was doing this thing where she was spinning her head in a circle and making no noise. So I was like, well, I think the song is over. So I dropped the egg. And then I walked out. I was walking back to my tent in a bit of a daze, and I saw there was this tree that had like no leaves on it, but it's like a small tree about my height with loads of branches coming off of it, and then a picture next to it. And apparently this tree was an art exhibition at the festival. Yeah. And the photo next to the tree was of the tree with a coat hanger hanging off of every branch. But the coat hangers weren't on this tree anymore. And literally later on, my friend said he saw her put the coat hangers back on the tree. And she clearly nicked them off of a work of art on the way to the chai tea tent.
What the hell was going on?
I don't know. To this day, I don't understand what was going on.
One short at the egg shaker display as well.
Yeah. Also, yeah, the egg and spoon race.
Still the best band you've ever been in there.
Yeah. Still, like we've got more people watching us than any other band.
That is
an amazing story.
How did you forget that?
I can't believe. I don't know how I forgot that story. And my friend just reminded me of it.
Just hang up a coat.
They said, yeah, hang up a coat. I had a vicious flashback.
Oh God.
Wow.
Now, you said that story wasn't going to be anti-Christian. I can't imagine many atheists listening and going, it's time to convert.
I do love coat hangers.
Josh Widdicombe.
XFM. That was an unexpected end to the song, wasn't it? From Two Door Cinema Club. You can't control your excitement of that.
Really made me laugh. And I just say, this is speaking to someone. Oh, you know, anymore. Little robot voice.
And they're selling out the O2, James, so the sales speaks for themselves.
The O2.
Right, we come to the end of the show where you wave goodbye to James Acaster and Ivo Graham. As a thank you for coming in, you can plug what you want. Ivo, would you like to start?
No, I think you should probably let James go first. He can probably have some of my time as well, I think.
Do you not want to plug anything?
Oh no, I'd love people to come watch me do comedy, but
come and watch me do comedy.
Yeah, I'm really giving it
the
my best.
vaguest plug I've ever heard.
Well, I've got I've mentioned the important ones on Twitter, and I'm doing. I'm not good at this. Follow me on Twitter, and then please, and I'll do a couple of jokes and mention a comedy show, and then come to that.
Ivo's very funny. You should all go and see him.
Yeah, thanks, James.
I mean, if you can't do it, do it yourself. We'll have to do it for you. James.
My tour.
Ivo, watch and learn.
My tour continues.
An old pro.
Tonight, Redditch. Tomorrow, Sheffield. Harrogate on Monday.
Oh, I'm doing Harrogate on Sunday.
Lovely.
Shall I leave something in the dressing room and see if you pick it up?
Yeah. That'd be good fun.
I'll leave that egg shaker. I'm going to take the egg shaker to Harrogate.
Yeah. Leave it there. We'll see if that works.
What
Brilliant.
exciting life we lead.
You've ruined the surprise now. He'll be expecting the egg shaker.
Oh, yeah,
You should have just taken it.
I'll leave a crocodile.
Be anything. Wednesday, Aldershot. Thursday, Brighton. Friday, Chipping Norton.
Wow.
Saturday, Cambridge.
Brilliant.
JamesAcaster.com for tickets.
I should probably return the favour and say James's show. Well, it's not last year's show, but it's still very good.
What is that? How dare you? Both got nominated, mate.
But neither one, which is the important thing. Thank you both for coming in. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Neil, for, being fertile.
You don't need to thank Neil this morning.
Don't need to thank Neil. Let's move on. Dave, Ivo, James, thank you.
Thank you, Josh.
Thanks very much, Josh.
Josh Widdicombe. Podcast XFM.